Yo, what's going on, guys? Mush back at it with another video, and I am here to talk about the unfortunate situation with Battlefield 6 as the reception of this game is getting worse and worse. And it seems like, look, when it comes to live service games that are being published by major publishers like in Electronic Arts, you know, at the end of the day, these games are going to be monetized, and I have come to accept that reality, but I also would hope that the major publishers would assess the situation and monetize within reason. Now, Battlefield 6 is a game that I played when it came out, and then I kind of just moved on. With multiplayer shooters these days, I'm not going to be the type of person that's going to be playing the game year-round. I've said it before, those days for me are long gone. You know, back when I was in high school, yeah, a Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, a Black Ops 2, a Battlefield 3, a Battlefield 4, those games would be in the cycle of games that I was playing year-round. These days, my gaming habits have just changed, and I'm trying to play every new major release that's sinking hours and hours into a live service shooter like this throughout the entirety of the year, following it with every season update. I just can't invest the time, nor do I want to. I'm a washed-up old man, and I can't be playing these games like I used to, and I'm just not at that skill level anymore either, especially when you're not investing that kind of time. And without even investing time, I'm kind of cooked when it comes to multiplayer shooters, but I enjoyed the initial experience I had with Battlefield 6, but I am probably a little bit different in the sense that I wasn't expecting this game to keep me engaged forever and ever, so moving on from it, for me, was fairly easy, but for a lot of people that are super into the experience, unfortunately, it has left a lot to be desired over the past few months. And I want to take you guys through some of the negative reviews in a second. Now, for a little while, it actually had hit mostly negative reception on the recent Steam reviews. Right now, as of the recording of this video, it's at 52% positive, but for a game that was generally being received pretty well at launch, 52% is certainly not where you want to be. And when it comes to live service games and games that evolve over time, what you really want to look at when it comes to understanding how the general reception is. You look at the recent Steam reviews relative to the overall reviews. So the recent reviews are at 52% positive, like I said, with 16,922 reviews. Like, that's a decent sample size to go over. All-time reviews is at 127,000 reviews, 72% positive. Oh, what does that mean? That means that the perception of the game, and the reception, I should say, has been getting worse and worse over time as it's been out. And that's the worst thing for a live service game. A live service game launching at a high and then ultimately getting worse and worse. But such is the story of so many live service games over the year, you would hope that Battlefield 6 would be able to buck that trend. It goes beyond that with the Steam concurrent player count. Now, I am not one to take the Steam concurrent player count and immediately doom and gloom. What you have to do is you have to add the proper context to it, and I know that Arc Raiders is going to be the game that everybody compares every live service game from here on out. What Arc Raiders is doing is incredible, and it is by far, and in a lot of ways, it is the exception, not the rule. Not every game can be expected to retain 100% of its player base. Even 85% of its player base is incredibly difficult. But in the case of Battlefield 6, the all-time peak 3 months ago was 747,000 concurrent players on Steam. It has dipped all the way down to the recording of this video to 56,000 concurrent players. That is well under 10% of its concurrent player base, and that is not good when you have that big of a dip in just 3 months. Now, generally speaking, 6 weeks to 3 months, that's around the time where you're gonna get the idea of where a game is gonna settle at, but you would hope that for a game like this, it would settle at better than 10% of its concurrent player base. Like, Marvel Rivals peaked at 644,000 concurrent players 12 months ago, and it's down to, 10% of that concurrent player base as well, anywhere from 50 to 100,000 concurrent players, but it's been a year since that game has come out, and Battlefield 6 launched at a higher high, and unfortunately, it hasn't been able to retain that, especially Battlefield 6 came out as a pay-to-play $70 game, and it's been getting discounted, and it still hasn't been able to, at least go a little bit higher. Now, the Battlefield Battlefield Bulletin X page has a breakdown, and I'll go over some of the negative Steam reviews. Some of the reasons, and there's a ton: the lack of gameplay content, vehicles, weapons, gadgets, but above all, maps. The game has been in such a bad state since the 1.1.30 update. The lack of identity, tone and style and depth, traditional server browser and voiceovers. Progression system feels so frustrating and way too slow, and some in-game challenges. Portal hasn't received the treatment that it deserves. Community-driven experiences have no visibility, and you barely get any XP. Generative AI cosmetics. Yes, generative AI cosmetics for a game that sold as well at a $70 price tag is absolutely heinous. Netflix-style main menus, too much filler content as well. Now, let's go into the recent reviews and look at some of the negative reviews. You have one that is the top negative reviews. Just a few points about Battlefield 6, a game by AAA premium LMAO publisher EA. BF6 was a blatant bait and switch from the more grounded beta. Now the codification has been started. BF6 is aggressively monetized like a free-to-play game, but still expects you to pay full price for game battle pass. And this is what a lot of studios do now, and it's effective in the sense that Battlefield 6 was one of the best-selling games during the winter sale because it was discounted 30% off. These games come out at $70, and they will go on sale fairly quickly. Call of Duty, historically, never went on sale. If you were playing Call of Duty back in 2008, 2009, and into the mid-2010s, you remember that Call of Duty never went on sale. Nowadays, these games like Battlefield 6 and Call of Duty, they will go on sale fairly quickly after coming out because you're selling the game still at a premium price point. If you're paying anywhere north of $30 for a game post-launch, you're paying a premium price point still, but then they'll aggressively monetize the game on top of that. This is the dream that every publisher ultimately wants. The major publishers, they want that bag so badly, and they'll get that bag or try to get that bag even in spite of the quality of the game lessening and lessening. The game continuously bombs you with seasonal FOMO battle passes and over, so you're either forced to grind stupid challenges every week or pay. FOMO, FOMO, FOMO. And I bring up FOMO all the time when it comes to live service titles. I get that it has to be something baked into a game, or they believe it needs to be baked into a game, but there have also been instances like Helldivers 2, they don't make the battle passes expire and so on and so forth, and I just much prefer that. That idea of FOMO, it's just trying to psychologically manipulate people, and I get that everything is psychological manipulation, but to that extent, to get them to spend money and be invested into the game, I feel like it's kind of, me saying it's abusing your player base is just a little too much, but it's not treating your player base that spends $70 on the game fairly. Can we just agree with it on that it's utilizing these aspects to try to make you invested into the game because you're just like, man, I don't want to miss that, even though, in reality, you might want to move on for a little bit, but if you move on, you might miss that, and I feel like with a $70 game, you shouldn't be employing that tactic as much. You, do it in a little bit if you want to, maybe rotate in game modes. I think that's a cool way. Double XP weekends, that's a FOMO that I think that you could implement, something like that, but then, the battle passes and things of that nature. Stupid challenges also make you hate playing the game because grinding them is what you will do instead of playing the game normally. Yeah, that I don't like either, in terms of manipulating how you play the game to do these objectives. And think about why they do it the way that they do. You have to grind these objectives, you invest more time into that game. Time is the most finite resource. I say this over and over again. It's the one resource you will never, ever get back. And the more you invest into the game, what is the magic word that all of these live service games are looking for? It is engagement. They are very much designed in a specific way with FOMO in mind, and then also with you grinding hours and hours to the point of you not enjoying it, but guess what? You'll want to get that content that's not going to be there after a certain period of time. So it's this looping cycle that I'm happy that I break out of. Dude, a live service game comes out, I play it for a little while, I move on with my life, and I'm so happy I can do that, but I get it that people are so invested into the experience. At this point, I'm just like, dude, you want to take away the content? Fair game. I value my time more, and I want to play other games and do other things with my life than grind out challenges forever and ever. The user continued, EA lied about portal mode being equal to a normal PvP servers. No persistent servers, so forget about any resemblance of community. Instead, you'll play with bots because the matchmaking cannot create a full player game with tens of thousands of players online. DICE breaks the game with every single update, often reintroducing old bugs or creating new ones, like making the main menu UI unusable. That's a big thing. The UI being brought up. That came from user IIWBII Mars. The top review on Steam right now, and 3,729 people found that review helpful. Some other reviews: horrendous matchmaking, bad netcode, bad map design. Most of the maps heavily favors defenders, and yet the devs only care about battle passes and skins. Dude, once you have the player base into the game, I think a lot of it becomes how do we monetize them, how do we meet our target financials, and so on and so forth. But obviously it has to be a balance where you need to also make the game quality so people will remain invested into it. But they already made an absurd amount of money on the $70 a sale, and now they're trying to milk out even more money. And such is the case with so many live service games. A game with decent bones being mishandled by EA and DICE, holding it back from its true potential, another casualty of the modern multiplayer live service machine. Why do you think so many people hate this? Why do you think so many people are not looking forward to and just groaned at High Guard? Like, it's because people have been done dirty by these styles of games so often. Live service games, it's just over and over again. $70 for a billion-dollar game that doesn't test their upcoming updates. Latest update literally only lets you play one game, then the menu breaks and you cannot queue to play another. Such a great design. Good job, guys. And I would say it's because there's more emphasis on how do we monetize people rather than increasing the user quality experience, user quality of life. And I would argue, and I think anybody with a functioning brain cell could argue, that if you improve the user quality of life, if you improve the game, ultimately it comes back. That's what I always say. You build goodwill with the audience. Yes, it might be a little bit more difficult, and once goodwill is cooked, it is so hard. Like, for Battlefield 6 to rebuild that goodwill, it's gonna be so difficult because once it's gone, it takes moving mountains to rebuild it. No Man's Sky did it, but look at what No Man's Sky had to do. Cyberpunk 2077 did it, but look at what that game had to do. You have to move mountains to rebuild that goodwill. It's absolutely possible, but it's very, very difficult. Then I look at a game like Where Winds Meet. It's a totally free-to-play game. Does it have its FOMO aspects? Absolutely, but it's not a $70 game, and that game has its goodwill already in place. That's literally, for that game, it's the goodwill to lose, and hopefully they don't do that. But with Battlefield 6 rebuilding that, I'm telling you guys, it's so difficult. And once you lose that player base, look at what happened with Halo Infinite. Halo Infinite, after a while, really became a quality game and got a lot of content updates. Did they ever capture that interest that it had at launch? No. And it's not about even... Look, it's going to be really difficult to hit 700,000 concurrents. A lot of that is lightning in a bottle. It happened with Palworld as well. Lightning in a bottle moment. But even beyond that, we're not saying getting back to 700,000, but getting people back invested into the game where you're at 150, 200K. I think that's a reasonable number to be at. I'm not asking or expecting the 100% retention that Arc Raiders has had, but I think that's going to be very, very difficult as well. But that'll do it for me. Let me know all of your thoughts. If you're still playing Battlefield 6, interested to hear what you guys think, because I've moved on these days. You guys know I'm not built for these multiplayer shooters, at least in the long term. When it comes out, all my boys are on. We could spend some time with it. We could have some fun. And then, as far as perpetually playing it, those days are over for me. And honestly, I'm better off for it, at least in the current moment. Just being away from playing multiplayer games year-round has made my quality of life, honestly, so much better. But that'll do it for me. Your thoughts down below. Thanks for watching. I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace out. Hey, what's going on, guys? Mush here again. Hope you enjoyed the video. As you guys might know, YouTube's notification system is sometimes a little bit wonky, even if you're subscribed to the channel. Maybe you're not abundantly aware that I uploaded a video. To remedy that situation, make sure you hit the bell notification button. This way, whenever I upload a new video, and I try to upload as consistently as possible, you will be notified directly of the upload, and you can watch it as soon as it goes live. I would really appreciate if you guys hit that button so you can stay up to date with all of the content I'm posting. But as always, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.